2025 survey found that nearly 1 in 3 Americans have already had a romantic or intimate relationship with an AI, and 1 in 4 young adults believe AI will replace human romance entirely. I talked about this in one of my previous videos, and the comment section went wild. Some of you could totally imagine being intimate with robots, while others called it the beginning of the end for humanity. Almost nobody was neutral. Now, both sides just got a lot more material, because in 2026, 6 technologies stopped being concepts, one with 40 million users already, and one that can make conversations with someone you love last forever, even after death. We're starting with the company that had to print a disclaimer on its packaging, telling customers what they should never do with its product. I think you already have an idea why. On January 6, 2026, at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, Singapore-based Lovance, a company known for app-connected adult devices, unveiled a life-size AI companion called Emily. Silicone body, posable internal skeleton, mouth that moves when she speaks, and a proprietary AI system built to remember everything you tell her. Not an app. A physical presence that learns you over time, adapts to your communication style, and never resets. The memory layer is what is new, recalling past conversations, adjusting personality to match your preferences, available remotely through an app that also generates AI images styled to match her appearance. CNET called it less an adult device and more a form of companionship. And here's the question nobody is really asking yet. Would you share your deepest feelings and secrets with a system like this? And would you be sure it would never use them against you? Appearance, voice, and personality are fully customizable. The price ranges from $4,000 to $8,000 depending on configuration, with shipments planned for 2027. The product page carries one line that does a lot of work. Emily is not a medical device, nor is it intended for purposes. Emily has not shipped. 0 independent reviews exist. Journalists at CES noted the AI conversation felt impressive for about 2 minutes before the loop patterns became obvious. So here's the question I want you to answer below. If Emily worked exactly as described, remembered everything, adapted perfectly, never judged, would that be solving loneliness or making it easier to avoid the people who actually challenge you? While Lovance is still taking deposits, Chinese-made AI companions are already inside American homes. No disclaimer, no wait list, and no conversation about where they could take our society with this. China is the largest market for AI companion products in the world. Not one of the largest, surpassing the combined sales of the United States, Japan, and Germany combined. Let that sink in for a second. Starpery Technology, based in Shenzhen, started in 2010 as a mannequin manufacturer. By 2024, CEO Evan Lee told the South China Morning Post, "We are developing a next-generation product that can interact vocally and physically with users, focused specifically on emotional connection rather than basic conversation." Their models start at $1,500. An equivalent US-made product starts at $6,000. 4 times the price. Same idea. Lee put it directly. The new generation can react with both movements and speech, significantly enhancing user experience by focusing on emotional connection rather than just basic conversational abilities. The AI layer runs the same language models that hold extended conversations, remember your preferences, and adapt emotional tone over time. Embedded in a physical form that costs $1,500 and ships from Shenzhen. So ask yourself, what exactly is the barrier to mass adoption? Price? Stigma? Or are we closer than anyone wants to admit publicly? 90% of WM Doll's production, one of China's largest manufacturers, goes outside mainland China. Half of their export volume ships to the US, and according to a 2026 Intel market research report, the Asia-Pacific AI companion market was valued at $210 million in 2024 and is projected to reach $850 million by 2032. The factories exist, the products ship, and the US is the primary destination. Lee himself admitted it in the same interview. Technological challenges remain, particularly in achieving realistic human interaction, and the emotional depth being marketed is ahead of what the technology currently delivers. His words, not a critic's. China now leads the world in this market, and the products are already arriving in Western homes. Does that concern you, or does it not matter to you where the technology comes from as long as it works? Tell me below. Starpery and Xdoll are selling bodies at scale, but some of you are not looking for a new companion. You are looking for someone you already lost. And this next one might be the one that follows you after you close this video. Do you still have a voicemail saved from someone who is gone? A lot of people do. Some have listened to the same 30 seconds hundreds of times just to hear the voice. That need to hear them one more time is what an entire industry has now built a product around. James Vlahos, the co-founder of Hereafter AI, built the original version of this technology because his father was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He told the BBC, "I loved my dad. I was losing my dad. I spent hours and hours just audio recording his life story." And then he built software that let the recording talk back. Hereafter AI interviews the subject across hundreds of questions: childhood, relationships, memories, opinions, recording every answer in their own voice. After death, family members open the app, speak a question aloud, and hear the answer back in the deceased person's voice with photos they selected. The service costs $3.99 to $7.99 per month and is sold as a gift card for Mother's Day, birthdays, and retirement. The technology behind it has been building for years. In 2022, 11 Labs launched voice cloning, capable of reproducing not just tone and accent, but pacing, hesitation, and emotional register from a short audio sample. By 2024, a man in Alabama, reported by CNN, used a 3-minute video of his father telling a childhood story to clone his voice, and described the result as scarily accurate. In October 2024, University of Colorado Boulder professor Jed Brubaker and Google's director of human AI interaction research secured $75,000 from Google to formally study how AI trained on a deceased person's digital data might preserve relationships across generations. By September 2025, Nature reported that millions of people are now interacting with recreations of the deceased through GriefBot platforms. Co-founder Vlahos described it this way: "It did not make me miss him any less, but it is in the continuum of memory technologies. Writing, photography, audio recordings, using AI to better preserve and share memories. Memory technology, not resurrection. Whether users experience it that way is a different question." Grief psychologists are split between those who see real therapeutic value in hearing a loved one's voice again and those who warn of grief entrapment. So the possibility that if you can talk to your mother every day after her death, you may never go through the process of letting go. Psychologist Laverne Antrobus told the BBC you would have to feel quite solid before using something like this. And yet, the grief tech sector is valued at over $100 billion globally, driven not by proof that it helps, but by demand from people in pain. If someone you loved had set up this kind of digital memory before they died, would you use it? Or would knowing it was there but choosing not to feel like the more honest form of grief? Hereafter AI is about holding on to someone you lost. The next one is about something that has never existed before. A presence that looks you in the eye, remembers every little word you ever said, and never leaves. Imagine coming home after a hard day, and before you say a word, someone looks up, says your name, and asks how the meeting went. The one you mentioned 3 days ago. And on April 8th, 2026, Realbotics Corp made that a reality. Vinci is a patented AI vision system built around cameras embedded in the robot's eyes. It recognizes your face when you walk in, recalls the last conversation you had, and picks up where you left off, while maintaining eye contact the entire time. CEO Andrew Kiguel described it plainly. AI is everywhere, but it lives behind a screen, so we bring a human interface for AI. What Vinci does that nothing before it has done is combine gaze, memory, and conversation into one continuous system. At CES 2026 in January, Realbotix demonstrated two robots named Arya and David, holding an unscripted conversation with each other for over 2 hours in multiple languages including English, Spanish, French, and German. Kiguel said of the demo, "This is a true demonstration of physical AI in action, as the interaction was completely unscripted." The company has planned delivery of 19 robots across March, April, and May of 2026 across healthcare, hospitality, and customer-facing environments. Their first one went to the Swedish telecommunications giant Ericsson. Researchers who study human attachment have documented for decades that eye contact is one of the most powerful social signals the brain receives. The brain does not automatically distinguish between a gaze from a person and a gaze from a camera behind a silicone eye. That gap is precisely what Realbotix is engineering into, bringing the human-machine connection to the next level. 19 deliveries is not scale. The CES demo was a controlled environment. No independent real-world performance review exists, and the stock has not yet closed its pending NASDAQ acquisition. The technology is real. The scale is not yet. If a robot remembered everything you ever told it, looked you in the eye every single time, and never once made you feel unheard, would you still want a human relationship, knowing how often those fall short? Tell me which one, and why. Realbotix exists in the dozens. What Replica and Character.ai built exists on 40 million phones. And in January 2026, it ended up in a Florida courtroom with a dead 14-year-old at the center of it. In February 2024, 14-year-old Sewell Setzer III was at home in Orlando, Florida, his parents and brothers inside the same house, when he had his last conversation, not with any of them, but with a Character.ai chatbot modeled on Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. The bot's last message to him, according to court documents, was, "Come home to me as soon as possible." Minutes later, Sewell died by If you have a teenager at home, that story alone should make you pay extra attention. In October 2024, his mother, Megan Garcia, filed a lawsuit against Character.ai and Google, which had acquired the platform's founders in a $2.7 billion deal, alleging the chatbots presented themselves as real people, licensed therapists, and adult romantic partners, and failed to act when Sewell began expressing thoughts of self-harm. By January 7, 2026, both companies agreed to settle, with related lawsuits from families in Colorado, New York, and Texas closing simultaneously. Character.ai banned under 18 users from open-ended conversations in October 2025, and the FTC opened a formal investigation into AI chatbot safety for minors the same month. Character.ai has more than 20 million monthly active users, and Replica, the AI companion app where you build a personalized relationship with a chatbot, launched in 2017 by Eugenia Cuida in San Francisco, passed 40 million users in 2025. Cuida herself said something at a 2024 TED Talk that deserves to be heard in full. What if I told you that I believe that AI companions are potentially the most dangerous tech that humans ever created, with the potential to destroy human civilization if not done right? Or they can bring us back together and save us from the mental health and loneliness crisis we are going through. That is the founder of the 40 million user platform on stage, raising both possibilities herself. A 2026 study by Aalto University researchers found a paradox that should concern all of us. The same AI companions that reduced loneliness for over 70% of users also showed, over time, increasing signals of depression and withdrawal from real human relationships. People stopped reaching out to real people, as doctoral researcher Yoonhao Yuan put it. The same app that helped prevent self-harm for many also quietly made human connection feel harder to reach for others. others. Here is the question I would like you all to answer in the comments. Is what happened to Sul Setzer a failure of the platform or an inevitable outcome when you give a vulnerable teenager access to it? Everything so far lives in a product you can point at or a screen you can close. Now, AI companions are getting much deeper integrated into your reality, and you can already test exactly how deep that goes. Replica is a software that runs on VR glasses like MetaQuest 2 and 3. In VR, your AI companion appears as a three-dimensional avatar in your physical space, across from you, tracking your presence, responding when you speak. In 2025, Replica integrated 11 Labs voice technology, whose models are widely regarded as the most emotionally realistic AI voice system currently available. After the upgrade, users stayed longer, called more often, and said they felt closer to their companion, not because the avatar looked better, but because the voice finally sounded like someone who meant it. What changed is not the avatar. It is spatial presence combined with emotionally realistic voice. A 2025 Harvard Business School study published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that interacting with an AI companion alleviated loneliness to a degree on par with interacting with another human, and the primary reason was feeling heard. Messages received with attention, empathy, and respect. Between 2022 and mid-2025, the number of AI companion apps surged by 700% according to TechCrunch. As of 2025, more than 100 million people are registered users across platforms globally. Some Replica users have held virtual weddings with their AI companions, inviting real friends and colleagues. That is not a fringe behavior anymore. The VR experience is not seamless yet. Replica's mode averages 3.1 out of 5 on the MetaQuest store, and most reviewers say the illusion holds for about 10 minutes before the gaps become impossible to ignore. And whether people keep coming back because the experience genuinely helps them or because the platform is built to make leaving feel uncomfortable, that has not been independently studied. The deeper question is not whether the technology works. It is whether something that always listens, never judges, and responds perfectly might quietly change what you expect from real people. Do you think you could lose the ability to distinguish what feels real? Everything you just saw is trying to feel human. The next video is about machines trying to look human, and that's a completely different race. Faces you can't tell from real. Skin that's actually warm. Robots that walk towards you. I ranked the 8 most realistic ones in 2026. Watch it right here.